In this week's parasha, we have the miraculous splitting of the sea when the Jews cross on dry land and then the water drowns the Egyptians. Following this, the Torah tells us that Bnei Israel sing a song to Hashem, Az Yashir, and we say it too every day in davening. What is it about the song that's so fundamental, so critical, so central to our lives that we say it every day? Let's go back to Parshas Shmos. Moshe had gone to Pharaoh and said, "Let my people go," and Pharaoh says no. But not only that, he increased their oppression. Previously they were given straw to make bricks, but now they had to make the same quota of bricks, but gather their own straw. And so the Jews complained to Aaron and Moshe, and Moshe asks Hashem, "Why have you done evil to this people, and why have you sent me?" And then he says, "From the time I came to Pharaoh to speak in your name, he did evil to these people, but you did not rescue your people." The Beis HaLevi quotes a midrash, which says, Moshe stated, "With the word as I sinned when I stated since, as I came to speak to Pharaoh, he has done evil to this nation, and with the word as I sing praise, as Yashir Moshe." Moshe employed the very same term as to describe both the unbearable slavery in Egypt as well as the incredible joy of the splitting of the sea. What's going on here? Moshe's not making a pun and saying no pun intended, or perhaps yeah, pun intended. Moshe is saying that he sinned. If someone has sinned, then surely they need to go through the steps of tshuva, not make some clever word association. Moshe saw Bnei Israel suffering so terribly at the hands of Pharaoh, and Hashem sent him to Pharaoh, supposedly to free them. But immediately after he visits Pharaoh, not only are they not freed, their conditions worsen. Moshe goes back to Hashem and protests, "Ma'az ba'ati al Paro, from the time I came to Pharaoh to speak in your name, he did evil to this people, but you did not rescue your people." Moshe was asking Hashem, what is the purpose of this additional suffering? The answer to his question only became clear when Bnei Israel emerged from the Yam Suf, from the splitting of the sea. Chazal teach that the entire Bnei Israel merited a revelation of Hashem's presence at the Yam Suf that the greatest prophets did not merit to see. But this revelation was not a given. Bnei Israel were in Egypt for 210 years. Chazal tell us that had they remained in Mitzrayim in Egypt for the 400 years Hashem had originally foretold to Abraham, they would have sunk to the 50th level of tumah, of impurity, and then they would have been stuck, never able to emerge. To keep his promise to Abraham, Hashem accelerated the rate of galus to ensure that Bnei Israel would be able to survive as a nation. And so he had Pharaoh increase their workload, required them to cram 400 years of slave labor into 210 years to ensure that they not become stuck in the tumah of Mitzrayim forever. So years ago, I had laser hair removal, and you needed about 6 to 8 sessions, and it was expensive. However, if you could go higher on the machine, it would be much more painful, you could get the results quicker. So I took that pain to get it over with in fewer sessions. And I know I'm probably the first and only person in the history of the world to use IPL hair remover to explain the slavery in Egypt. But when Moshe uses the word as for the first time, he couldn't understand what good could come out of it. But then he uses it a second time. What does this mean? Moshe praised Hashem not only for the eventual salvation, but also for the harsh conditions which preceded the salvation. If not for that, no salvation could be possible. Immediately before Az Yashir, it says Vayomru Lemor. Why the Lemor? In most places in the Torah, Lemor follows V'yedaber Hashem el Moshe and means saying, indicating that Hashem is instructing Moshe to pass the message along to Bnei Israel. And so it's usually used in context of command or transmission of a message. Here there's no command being given, so what does it mean? One of the explanations is that this understanding is given over to all generations so that we in 2025 can know that what seems like the most difficult times in our lives are actually preparing us for tremendous good. Have a good Shabbos.